Okay, so successful approaches for communicating with and involving parents in the classroom. What are the most used?
For communicating, I do like either weekly, sometimes turned into monthly, kind of like newsletter that goes home and tells what we've been doing, what's coming up. Um, in the past, I've tried to do it weekly, and it gets to be kind of a lot of work. But I think that would be ideal. Also, kind of telling the parents what we're studying, each unit of study, what we're learning about in math, so that they can kind of have an idea too. But they can tell that more or less from the homework also. But um, in our culture, there's probably maybe like 40% of the families have computers at home and can get online. So a lot of schools have gone totally digital, and websites and information is all online, but we're not like that because the parents don't have accessibility to that. So it's a lot of flyers and um, one thing the school does, like the principal will do, is do what's called an all call,
Mhm.
where she records a message and then it automatically rings to everybody's classes, kind of like when
Okay.
you were in high school and
Yeah.
they said you missed class.
Yeah.
But so they'll say events that are coming up. So that's really good because a lot of times flyers just get thrown in the trash or whatever.
Mhm.
But that's the biggest thing for communication that I have. When there's behavioral needs, a lot of times we'll do like a daily report system with the parents so that they know what's going on. Um, and also, since they're younger still, we can kind of grab parents and talk to them after school in person.
Mhm.
At the very beginning of the year, we have them fill out like an interest sheet telling about their children and any what they're interested in, what they like to do, and any concerns they have. Parent involvement here at our school is another tricky thing. We have very low parent involvement compared to some schools in our district.
Mhm.
Overall, the schools in La Puente have much lower parent involvement than in Hacienda Heights.
Mhm.
And it kind of, I mean, you can kind of see that a lot of times it's a cultural thing, and then also just finances. A lot of our parents are working, or they don't have the means to, come to school. They drop their kids off and they're walking and pushing strollers and all that kind of stuff. So we have a pretty good core of like basic parents that are in our booster club that do spend a lot of time and energy on all the fundraisers and all that, but it's not. Um, I haven't had a volunteer in my classroom in probably 3 years.
Oh, dang. That's so long.
So
Wow.
we don't have room parents. And now it's even more difficult. It kind of was a step back with all these problems about school safety and the safety of the kids, where they all have to be fingerprinted and life scanned
Mhm.
and TB tested and all of this stuff. And it like takes like 3 months, and it has to go through. They have to go down to the office
Mhm.
and the district office, and so that cut back a lot of our parent volunteers because either they had to pay for their own fingerprinting, and
Yeah.
so that was unfortunate. But it's really a cultural thing. It's sad, but it's just kind of the way it is
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Is that all for that? I can't remember
Oh, well, just I think you said the approach is least used, right? In that, or
the approach that we use least
yeah,
as far as communicating with them.
yeah.
I would say the least thing is, just having them here on campus is the hardest thing. Because now, and then this year's the first year we went to a closed campus. So
Mm.
before it used to be like in the mornings, their parents would all come onto campus, and a lot of them would, stand even in line with their kids. And
Mhm.
so that was communicating too. They'd say, so and so's not feeling well, or I had a question about homework or whatever. But now we don't even have that because they have to stay off.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably the least used, is just physically having them here. And the computer, like I said, we don't use that. So it's mostly flyers, notes, and phone calls and email. I'll email when a parent has accessibility to that, and
Okay.
that's really easy. And actually, I use texting a lot for parent, and it's kind of, I don't know, you could go either way with the ethics of it, but Hello, they're in here. That if it's a family that I already know and I get the feeling that I can trust them with my cell number, then I give it to them and they'll text and ask, questions. And
Okay.
it's a lot of times if it's working parents and I don't get a chance to see them, and then I'll give them my cell number and they'll text and we'll communicate that way too.
Okay.